Hello, Mr. Parag. Welcome to InfosecTrain.
Section.
How are you, sir?
All good. Thank you. How are you doing?
All well. Thank you so much. Firstly, grand congratulations to you on behalf of all of us for clearing one of the elite certifications from IAPP and Data Privacy CIPM. How's your experience while preparing for this master certification, sir?
Thanks for that. Yeah, it has been awesome. As you have already recognized, CIPM is one of the leading certifications in data privacy space. So that was certainly on my to do for a while, and I'm happy that I was able to crack that quite recently. As far as my learning experience of CIPM is concerned, so I come with a background of about 18 years of experience into InfoSec and primarily into information security, governance, and management. I thought that helped me to study for CIPM in quite an, I would say, comfortable manner, because I think many of the terms from management and governance point of view, fairly I was aware of. So I think probably that could be one of the reasons I found an easy experience as far as learning is concerned. If I talk about key learning resources I use in my overall experience, uh, so besides this background I come with, I knew that it will be little easier to prepare. But then, as with any professional certification, it is always advisable that you go with proper study plan, right? You have right resources with you, and then it, I think, gets easier, or I would say that it increases your chances of passing that exam, right? So considering that, I thought that I should have a training partner who can actually help me with understanding the key concepts, helping me with my queries, and then basically become a guiding source while I go with this CIPM journey. So with that, I did evaluate multiple training partners, and then I narrowed down to InfosecTrain, and I found that they are more suitable for me to select that as a training resource for me. So I'll come to that part later on. But to talk about the exam and study experience, so I solely relied on the IAP study guide, because it is always recommended that you go with body of knowledge for any exam, and that's where I chose to stick to IAP study guide as my primary source for studying all the designated topics from the exam. Obviously, that did help me to actually understand the exam coverage well, and then from topic perspective also, it did help to understand all concepts, and quite well it is articulated. So if you stick to a study plan, if you're well disciplined, I think then IAP is the study guide that can just help you to whatever you need to pass the exam. It can certainly bring you to that level. So that was a primary source, and with that I did have a couple of practice exams. So one of them is from IAP itself, where they do provide 90 question set for you to practice. Obviously, as a disclaimer, no sort of questions you can expect to come in your exam. It is more that those questions and answers are handpicked from past exams, and they just give you some test of real exam. Okay, so IAP has done a brilliant job in terms of articulating those question and answer for a practice perspective. And I did not go beyond that, because I think there are various free practice questions also available. But then again, it is just that it may lower your confidence if the quality is not ensured. So I don't recommend going with any freely available question and answers for that reason, because then it may happen that you are well prepared, and it is just that one wrong answer can just either lower your confidence, or then it may make you relook at the concept again, right? So it is not recommended. It may certainly disturb your study plan. That's the point. And yeah, I think these are the only resources. I, to some extent, I did use all-in-one study guide also, but then that was mainly for question and answer part. So not from the content perspective. For the actual body of knowledge, I suggest to go on to the IAP study guide only. If I quickly talk about my exam experience, Again, it all depends how confident you are on the day. But yeah, it also goes back to the preparation. So that has to be well. Then only you'll be confident enough on the day to at least start your exam, right? So that was well said for me. And typically what I do for any exams, I do plan that at least a month advance, right? So when you actually register for the exam, your actually mindset gets prepared for the towards the exam, right? So that's what I typically do. And ultimately for good reasons, it pressurizes you also. It makes you being very disciplined with your study. That's something works for me, and that's how I do it. So a month advance I did that, so I got enough time to prepare myself to see that I'm well aligned with my study plan. So that was there. I was quite confident, and again, another strategy is always recommended that you pick the easy ones, right? Since the exam allows you to go back also, so whatever you are able to attempt and you are confident about, just answer those questions and move ahead, right? Don't think much if you are just stuck with something. Right, it may disturb your mindset also. So I always suggest that crack the easy ones and then mark those tough ones for the review and then come back, because it may happen that you answer the easy questions, it boosts your confidence, and then when you come back to the tough question, it may be a little easier for you rather than what you thought in the initial attempt. So that I did. I kept a tap on my time also. So I was well ahead of the time left in the exam. And I would say that with that discipline approach and time management, I was able to finish the exam well in time. I had 20-25 minutes left when I was done with complete review of my exam. And yeah, to my surprise, or I would say to my expectation, I did pass that exam. So that has been about study and exam.
How's your experience with InfosecTrain so far?
So as I said, InfosecTrain, I did choose after evaluating a couple of authorized training partners from IAPP. Um, and then I had certain metrics to evaluate. One was more of, I would say, transparency that is required, right? Because when you pay good amount of money to choose a partner for a tough certification like this, it is always recommended that they are transparent enough. They deliver quality training to you, right? And then it is also essentially important that you know who the trainer is, right? Because uh, training institute for all these metrics, it's fine, but then ultimately the person who is going to deliver you have to see the credibility of the person. So I think these were the metrics when I wanted to evaluate infosec train. And I'm happy that the experience was quite good. All it started, I would say, with the pre-sales contact, right? When I approached them through their website through bot, I immediately got a response back saying that, okay, what you are looking for, how can we help you? And I think Seema was the person who exchanged the contacts, and then instead of email, I prefer to have a phone conversation because I have certain questions, right? For choosing this partner. And then she was quite open in explaining all the information about the training and the questions I had. So I think that's the point where I thought, okay, this could be a probable training partner for me, right? Because I see they have been transparent, they have been openly addressing the questions, right? So that was one of the factors. Second thing, I would say, the quality of the training delivery. So while it is easy to see the feedback on the website and social media, but they did share their trainer's profile also. Jay was the trainer for us, and I think that was a good point because we actually got to see credibility of the trainer. We got to see the experience the person is carrying. Besides training, also his professional experience where he did work in the privacy space and all that. So I think that also helped to actually know that who my trainer would be. So one was about the institute, and secondly was about the trainer also. And then I think I had a couple of conversation with Seema in terms of the schedule, in terms of the content delivery. So I remember she also shared a sample video how infosec trainings are delivered, right? So that also helped me gaining the confidence, okay, how that methodology would be, right? So I think that training methodology was also one of the metrics that I evaluated. And I think after those couple of conversation, I found them to be very competitive, very transparent enough, and more importantly, I thought that okay, from quality front, I'm really seeing the quality in that, right? Because I did same measurement against the other partners also, and I think with that, InfosecTrain, I could rate uh, above all of them. So I think these are the areas where it helped me to choose a right training partner.
Any suggestions or tips you want to share with our CIPM or data privacy aspirants who are preparing for their certification and about to appear for their examination anytime soon?
If they have opted for a training, so again, I think that's a primary source for them. For me, it was about I think 8 sessions I had, 4 hours of each, 32 hours training program. So that's your primary source, and then you shouldn't be missing those sessions. That's what I say. Because in my experience with Jay, right, and I believe that would be with other training partners of Infosec Train also, that he provided ample time for addressing our queries. So it never happened that he just went with the agenda. He might have just told the agenda at the start of the sessions, but he did make sure that anyone has any questions from the prior session, or even I remember the very first session, 1 hour actually went into the introduction and the basics of privacy and all that, which essentially was not part of the formal agenda. So he thought that it is appropriate that he sets a platform, right? He sets the right expectations, and then more importantly, participants also feel comfortable before they start their journey. So I think that is very important for any training, that it has to be interactive, and the trainer should be very interactive in their talking approach, and they should be addressing their questions. So that's something happened. So one is your training, that has to be done very well. And secondly, as I said, the IAP study guide, that's your prime source, because if you are thoroughly studying that, understanding, and also understanding the application of concepts, then it will be very easier for you. And I believe it also helps you to bridge the gap. So the methodology being adopted by the trainer, the content coverage there, and then you go back and see that okay, how that has been articulated in the study guide. And then you, if you come up with the questions, or many time it happened in our batch that people had very practical questions, right? So they might have read this study guide, they might have heard what Jay has said, but then they come up with their own question in terms of the problems they had in their privacy program, for example, right? Or somewhere they might have seen some privacy incidents happening. So I think those were more of a scenario based questions, or I would say real life experiences. And there also Jay helped us in terms of sharing his experience, going beyond the formal study guide and the training material, and then bringing his perspective about how it goes in real life, right? So I think those I would say two tips I would suggest, that you thoroughly do the training, the study guide, and then have little bit exposure to the question and answer also. So it basically prepares you in a better way in terms of how exam format would be like that.
Thank you so much for sharing your valuable experience with us, sir. It was super exciting and wonderful to have you and listen from you. We are eagerly looking forward to contribute endlessly towards your learning endeavors hereafter. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day, great week. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.